Welcome back, everybody, to my last brain cell. Happy Tuesday, happy November, happy November. I did this last year too, but November is Men's Mental Health Month. So, man to man, let me tell you, you matter, you are loved, and you're handsome. And don't forget that. Um, for some reason, I feel like you know how when you watch like comedies or sitcoms or whatever, and like that special guest comes on, and if they have like a live audience, you get the woo whatever. In my head, that's what I feel like right now because today we haven't had like a regular episode in a month. You feel me? Because we did the we try to play doctor all October. You feel me? Then you guys had the short spooky stories, which were a lot of fun, very draining. I'm not gonna lie, it was very draining, but it was a lot of fun. And it was only draining because obviously I still work, I still have to go to the gym and all those other things. So trying to balance that on top of adding basically 3 to 4 additional recording episodes, it was very time consuming, but it was very much worth it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, man, happy November, y'all. I hope you had a safe and happy Halloween. I hope that this month of November is going to be prosperous for you. Some quick housekeeping. Um, you should have received a clandestine cuisine episode, last batch of episodes. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Obviously, sip read repeat is just, it's getting nuts with uh 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 Amy being robbed and Nick's stocks being on the up. We're very much nearing quickly the end of this book. So in my head, I'll kind of just walk you guys through my thought process. In my head, I'm also considering adding like an additional episode to speed up the process at which this book is read, because I do want to start a new book next year, and I don't want to bring Gone Girl into next year. So I'm really hoping that this all works out the way I envision. And if it doesn't, then like I said, we'll just probably plan on doing an additional sip read repeat episode a month just to keep up a solid pace. So that's one. I had something two. The wheel is gonna be on hiatus for a little bit. I'm trying to figure out some new things to bring to the table as far as the wheel goes, right? Because the wheel does kind of dictate a decent part of like my yap session. So I wanna kind of change things up. So when we chop it up, I have some more fresh stuff on there. So the wheel's on hiatus. So that means today I will just be yapping about who knows what. I'm just gonna be talking. Like in my mind, I know a few topics I'm already gonna talk about because they're relevant to the times. And because we didn't have any regular episodes all October, there's a lot of things that I didn't get to talk to you guys about. So I will be taking the opportunity today. And then did I have anything else? That might be all. That might be all the housekeeping. If I remember anything else as we go along, then I'll let you guys know. But that's all I've got for you guys. So obviously, I brought back Simon. I think I forgot how to play. All right, so I think, oh yeah, so solo. Oh no, this is solo over here. So we're gonna play some Simon. We're getting to the question today. We still got Cards Against Humanity, and then who knows? Let's get into it, shall we? So I think the last time we talked, yeah, I was telling you guys how I feel like I don't dig deep enough into my brain for these questions, right? So I was thinking about the five senses, and I don't know why I was, but I was, and it made me think about this. What do you think would be harder? So there's five senses, yeah? There's the touch, taste, smell, sight. So I got locked in. There's touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. So if you were deaf, I'm locked in. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry. So if you were deaf, right? No, sorry. What do you think would be harder? To be deaf, so having your sight stripped away from you. Damn it. Still didn't be my previous high level, which is I think 25. That was only like 19. Anyway, so okay. Let's say that you are either deaf or blind, right? Like you were born that way. Which do you think would be harder? To be blind and also lose your sense of smell, or to be deaf and lose your sense of touch? Like, which do you think would be harder? And I think that to be blind and lose my sense of smell would be infinitely harder. Because imagine, yeah, that let's say you're trying to cook something and you can't see what you're cooking, or you can't see something that's happened, and let's say you burn something, you're not even gonna be able to smell the fire, the smoke, whatever. That's a terrifying thought. As opposed to, like, yeah, I can't hear anything, I might not be able to feel much, but I can see what's going on. I couldn't say, like, to have your sense of sight and sound stripped away from you. That, of course, is the hardest. But I do genuinely think, like, if you were blind and then also consequently lost your sense of smell, life would be infinitely harder than if you were deaf and lost your sense of touch. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Put it in the comments. And while you're doing that, I will, yes, and it's my pleasure, I will go ahead and grab Cards Against Humanity. Honestly, I'm also thinking Cards Against Humanity. It's time for that to go too. I need another dilemma-based game. So if you guys know any dilemma-based games, please put it in the comments. I need something new. I need something like Pick Your Poison. I could always revisit that. There's, I'm sure, a bunch of things and combinations that we didn't get a chance to visit. But I do feel like it's time to... Cards Against Humanity doesn't hit the same way Pick Your Poison did. Let's just be honest. It just doesn't. So I definitely am looking for a new dilemma-based game. So if you guys know of any, put your boy on. What's a girl's best friend? What's a girl's best friend? This might be interesting. This might be like really good. This could either be really, really good or really bad. I don't think there's never any like middle ground with Cards Against Humanity. Like Pick Your Poison had some middle ground, but the Cards Against Humanity, man, no, some of the cards fell. Ugh, fuck. Well, yeah, I fucked the whole deck up. All right, you know what? Fine, I'll pick you. Fine. Thirsty ass. All right. What's a girl's best friend? A man on the brink of orgasm. What's a girl's best friend? These are just getting better and better. Masturbating. What's a girl's best friend? Getting into a pretty bad car accident. Did I pull gold this round? What is happening? All right. Okay. All right. What is a girl's best friend? These are all incredible for different reasons. So we're going to do a bunch of different scenarios. We're going to start from the last one. Getting into a pretty bad car accident. I feel like obviously the stereotype, I'm going to feed into it, that women most women are not good drivers, right? And I feel like what's a girl best friend getting into a pretty bad car accident and just being like, I'm just a girl. Like, it wasn't my fault. I don't know what happened. Obviously, the tears start happening. Like, I'm just a girl. I don't know. I was just doing my best. It must be this other person's fault. It's like what I always think about. Not always. That's fucked up to say. I don't always think about, but it's what I think about right now. That was the scenario that came to mind when I see this, right? Masturbating. I know y'all be abusing those toys. And it's really funny too because I I don't have any toys for myself as a man, but I think it's crazy that we really promote women's sex toys and there's really not much going on for male sex toys. Just saying. Just saying. So what's a girl best friend masturbating? 'Cause I know y'all got all types of shit between dildos and vibrators and whatever. Like there's just you can do whatever you want to yourself. So that could also be a really good answer. But then there's the last one. What's a girl's best friend? A man on the brink of orgasm. Now this only works in one particular scenario. If the woman has like that kind of fetish, like, and she's like, I want to get you to that point because it just makes me feel a way on the inside. Like that's what really turns me on, is seeing you to that point. That would be the only way this one would work. And because I feel like there's probably more women out there that like it than I can imagine, but I also think there's a smaller number of women that are into that as opposed to either of the first two answers. Now, I don't think a woman's best friend is getting into a pretty bad car accident, right? So I have to immediately eliminate that. I do think, however, that was funny that it was one of the polls that I had because, again, stereotypically, women are more likely to get into car accidents, but it wouldn't be their best friend. I also don't think a man on the brink of orgasm is a woman's best friend because if it's reversed and then I enter that, like, I want to get you to that point just to see you get there. If that guy's a fast comer, then like that might not be what she's into. So a man on the brink of orgasm might not be her thing, which means by process of elimination and also it's the best answer anyway. Masturbating is a girl's best friend. But let me know what you guys would pick in the comments. Because I'll be honest, the game must have it must have felt my negative energy and knowing I was gonna talk shit about it because it locked in and gave us probably one of the best ones that it's given us ever. I don't want to say in a while. I honestly want to say ever, but that's just me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna clean up a little bit while I get ready to just yap. Mm-mm-mm. Giving me free reign was a dangerous idea, he said to himself, knowing he's in complete control. So, I'm so excited. A few weeks ago, I think at this point it might have been 2 weeks now, I had the pleasure of seeing the Chainsaw Man movie, Reze Arc. Y'all, that movie was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I saw it on something called Screen X, which, like, in theory sounds really cool because what it is you get your main screen right in front, right? But then you get screens on the side that are supposed to capture, like, extra stuff. So I thought I'd be getting a lot more, but it didn't really feel as immersive because it wasn't like a bunch of stuff was happening on those extra screens, right? Like it was mainly just like a continuation of the background, or like maybe if an explosion happened on one part, then like it might have come up on one side of the screen. The best part, the only part in that whole film that felt like it really took advantage of that was at one point Reze and Denji were talking, and it was from like the perspective of the listener was the one, like the main person being a focus on the screen while the talker was off screen, right? So the Screen X used it brilliantly because at one point Reze was the main focus, but then Denji was still on the side, like on the side screen, and then vice versa. Denji was on the main screen and Reze on the side. So that That part was probably the only part that felt like it really took advantage of the technology. Otherwise, it was kind of just basic. But the movie was good. I watched it in dub because I watched it with my girlfriend and she does not do sub. I'm a purist. I watch all my anime in sub, and I say that to say I had never heard the Chainsaw Man dub before, and it wasn't bad. I was kind of impressed with the voices. Like they're not horrible. Again, I do believe that the Japanese is way better, but it definitely wasn't bad. Animation wise, it was clean. You know, it was animated by Mappa. They always handle their work excellently. I just hope that with this movie, we start to get more Chainsaw Man news because they're not far into the manga, and the manga is far at this point. Like, of a lot of the animes that have come out, like, I mean, Dr. Stone's anime is very much racing towards its finale, right? And if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Stone almost definitely came out before Chainsaw Man, but Dr. Stone also probably on like season 5 or 6 at this point, and Chainsaw Man has 1. There's not that much of a time difference in when those animes dropped, like debuted, for there to be that much of a gap in the seasons that they have, right? We're about to get Jujutsu Kaisen season 3, and we're about to get Jujutsu Kaisen season 3, and we have 2 seasons and a movie, shocker, and we only have 1 season and now 1 movie of Chainsaw Man. You know what I mean? So like, I just hope that this movie does spawn another season because it was spectacular. The animation was so clean. The fights were beautiful. Choreography was mwah, and just it was incredible. And I'm a manga reader, so I knew when it comes to my manga reading, especially when it comes to a manga who's or especially when it comes to anime whose mangas like information or like uh um what's what I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? Like, like whatever chapters they're capturing to animate, if they're like really old, I remember like the broad strokes, right? Like I remember what happened to Reze at the end. I knew about the big twist about Reze. I knew all those things going into it, but they were the smaller details, like how did we get here, the emotional impact, the action that I forget about, and everything just hit, man. Like emotionally, it made it so apparent how important music is in movies because the score they had for certain parts between Denji and Reze's interaction really set up the tone for your heartstrings to be pulled. The the way the action was animated, it was it was clean. Oh, it was so good, and it makes me really excited to see what Mappa does for the next season of Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, my girlfriend asked me like which I thought was better between Demon Slayer and Chainsaw Man, right? And I was like, it's really hard to say because both studios' animation styles are so different, and because they're different, it's what makes them great, right? Like UFO Table, when they do Demon Slayer, it's all really clean, like clean. You know what I mean? Like the characters are always in motion as their structure, unless they're doing like those silly scenes. Like for example, when Giyu and Tanjiro are running in their chibi form, right? So unless they're doing something like that, they stay in their fully structured form. Whereas Mappa would take Chainsaw Man or Jujutsu Kaisen and give them like those swirly looks, like a little bit of a sloppier design because there's a lot of chaotic stuff going on. So the different animation styles make it hard to say which is better. I enjoyed both movies a lot. I've read slash am a reader of both of those stories, right? Because Chainsaw Man obviously is still going with this part 2, and Demon Slayer has since been done for probably about 5-6 years at this point. So I know of the events that are going to happen. So it's really cool to see them take the pages and translate them to a movie. Was translate the word I was looking for earlier? Quite possibly. It's really cool to see them translate that into these animations. Like, it's really sweet to see. So I think just because of the implications of what Chainsaw Man was, I think I would say Demon Slayer was. It's hard. I think I would say I like Chainsaw Man just a little bit better, just because the pacing of Chainsaw Man, because it's still like in its infancy, felt a little bit faster than what the pacing was for Demon Slayer, because it was like 4 stories in one, trying to like wrap up a little bit, right? Whereas Chainsaw Man was just one story. It's one contained story right now, because it's not in its end game phase. So yeah, but yeah, that was the only thing I have for y'all. I was so excited to talk about Chainsaw Man movie, man, but it was spectacular. If you have not seen it yet, get up off your ass and go see that movie. ASAMFP. Stop playing around. You need to go see the movie. Go see it, buddy. Hit the road, dude, and go watch the movie. If you understand the reference, let me know. That's all I got for you guys, man. That's all I got. That's all I got. That's all I got. Thank you so much for tuning in and stopping by. And I'll see you later. This is King Echo, signing off.